everyone, Hazel Courteney here. I hope you are well and happy. It's now getting a bit cooler, it's September, and recently a film came out about Princess Diana and her affair, if you like, with Mr. Hasn't Khan, the heart surgeon. And personally I'm not going to go and see it, but I have written a book about Princess Diana. I wrote it quite a long time ago actually, and I just want to give you a bit of background about this. Back in 1997 I was a weekly columnist with the Sunday Times newspaper. I used to write about health and spiritual issues, and before Princess Diana died I was a great fan of hers. I mean, so many of us were. And I met her a couple of times. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but I had lunch with her. And the last time I had lunch with her actually was in her apartments at Kensington Palace. And then of course, very, very tragically, she died in August of 1997. Now, in 1998, I received a phone call from a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Lawrence, who teaches people to become psychic. He's written some wonderful books on meditation, and he rang me and he said, "Hazel, we've got to meet." He said, I can't tell you this on the telephone, excuse me, and I thought, crikey, I wonder what he wants to tell me. Anyway, we met, we had a cup of tea, and he said, "You will never believe who I'm hearing from in the spirit world." And I said, "Like who?" And he said, "Princess Diana wants to communicate with you." And I thought, oh, get a life, you know. I thought, this is balmy. So anyway, I went about my life, took no notice. And then Lindsay Jarrett, who was my PA back in those days, around about March of 1998, she had a dream. And I said, "Oh, what happened in the dream?" And she said, "Well, Princess Diana and I were sitting in the audience and you were on the stage, and Diana said to me, 'The curtain's about to go up.'" So obviously I thought that was a very interesting dream, never gave it another thought. And then on about April the 7th or April the 8th, 1998, it was just before Easter 1998, I walked into Harrods, and in those days they used to have a turnstile in the bread hall, and I walked through that turnstile, and as I did so it became stuck, and in that second I could neither go forward nor could I go back, and this huge bolt of energy shot through my body, electrical tremors, huge pain in my chest and head. And within about 4 seconds I could hear a voice shouting in my head that I knew that voice had not emanated from me, Hazel. And it said, "See a doctor now." And obviously I wondered what the hell was going on. I thought perhaps I'd had a heart attack. I thought maybe I'd got minutes to live. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, I made it to the doctor, and when you think you only have minutes to live, believe you me, it really crystallizes what's important in your life. And what's important is love and your family. Anyway, over that Easter weekend, I went through an intense near-death experience with a medical doctor present. I began manifesting ash, which I'll explain in a minute. I became intensely psychic, and I also had what's known as a walk-in, and that's when, because all my energy field had blown open in Harrods, that meant that the spirit of someone who had departed was free to enter my energy field. And whilst this all might sound quite insane, I lived through it. I was just a normal person going about a normal life, and that person that entered my energy field, I believe, was Diana, Princess of Wales. Now, I realise this sounds over the top to many of you, but I had spoken to Diana about, she used to ask when would she hear spirit, and would she ever know who her spirit guides were, would she ever find happiness? And of course, you know, at that moment I didn't know that she was going to die in that tunnel one day. But my story took quite a long time for me to get over, and all the happenings that were going on. And I went on to write a book called Divine Intervention, which tells the story of my near-death experience, which is still available via Amazon. But the reason I'm doing this blog now is that the book has now been uploaded to Kindle and is available for just $2.99, and I will at some point be recording it if anybody wants to download it as an MP3 download. And in the years that followed, I eventually ended up going to America to be tested to try and validate my what some people would call wild claims. And I was tested in the afterlife experiments by Professor Gary Schwartz at the University of Arizona. And he said the results of those trials were jaw-dropping, and that the information in that second book is called something like The Evidence for the Sixth Sense, and that also will be available on Kindle in the next couple of months. And again, I will record it and make it into a download. And the whole business of people who are going through heightened spiritual emergencies, which is when a spiritual awakening becomes a crisis, and mine sure became a crisis, is explained in this trilogy, which is Divine Intervention, The Evidence of the Sixth Sense, and the latest one, Countdown to Coherence. Anyway, I hope you're all staying healthy. I'll get back to my healthy blogs next week. I think I'm off to have facial acupuncture and talk about acupuncture with someone who's been practicing it for more than 30 years. So stay healthy, everyone.